What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Game Night YouTube channel. In today's video, guys, I'm going to teach you how to play Night of the Phantom Ghoul. This is a tall Minton game created by Alex Clay. It says an old dark house thriller for 1 to 4 players, designed and illustrated by Alex Clay. On the back of the box, it says, you find yourself stranded at a spooky old mansion on a dark and stormy night. Inside, the house guests are murdered one after another. The killer is a sinister, masked figure known only as the Phantom Ghoul. Can you unmask the Phantom Ghoul, or will you become his next victim? Very, very cool stuff, guys. So it's like a whodunit murder mystery that you're taking part in. It's for 1 to 4 players, so you could play it solo, or you could play it with up to 3 of your friends. It takes about 10 to 30 minutes to play. It's pretty quick, and it's for ages 12 and up. And as you can see, it comes in a tall mint tin right here. Cool stuff, and everything fits right inside of the tin. I don't think it'll fit sleeved. Maybe we'll package it up at the end of the video if I remember. I don't think it'll fit sleeved because I think whenever I opened it, the brick of cards was like to the brim. So yeah, you might not be able to sleeve this one, but either way, we're going to go ahead and get into how to play, and we're going to do a solo play of the game. We'll go over the components really quick first. One thing I do want to mention before we actually get into Night of the Phantom Ghoul is that the game comes with 2 new trap cards for Canopic Jar Curse. Of course, Alex Clay, the creator of Night of the Phantom Ghoul, also created Canopic Jar Curse, another really fantastic game. And I like how he kept the same art style, even like the little framing around the card, or around the cover of the game is the same sort of artwork with the thick black lines around everything. Yeah, really cool. So he's got a nice little style going on. So yeah, he released this little card that says, several people have asked me for more content for Canopic Jar Curse, and I hope you'll enjoy these new trap cards. These are traps that he had to cut from the original version of the game, he said, because of space issues. So yeah, so you've got these 2 new trap cards right here. So you can add these to your trap deck for Canopic Jar Curse, and you'll have a couple new traps right there. Also, he added a hard mode, so you've got some little options here to make the game more difficult right there. So very, very cool stuff that he added that as like a little bonus for Canopic Jar Curse. So we'll set those off to the side. We're not going to need them. And then we're going to go over the rest of the components. So we've got the rule cards here. We've got 5 rule cards, and they are double-sided. So you basically have like a little 10-page rule book for the game right here. Very succinct, shows you all the contents of the game on the front, gives you like a little layout, a little like setup example layout, how you can set up the game. You can set it up however you want. We're going to do it slightly different today. I'm going to do it kind of mirrored than what it shows in here. But yeah, and then it goes over all the rules for the game, and it gives you some little discrepancies between if you're playing solo or multiplayer. There's really only like 1 or 2 times where that actually comes up in the rules. So yeah, it's going to be basically the same no matter what. He also has some special thanks here to his playtesters, Grace Clay and Mary Lois Clay. Hopefully I'm pronouncing the middle name right, Mary Lois Clay. Very cool stuff, man. So we're going to go ahead and set the rule cards off to the side. Then we got some different decks of cards over here. We got the detective deck, so it's going to come with 4 detective cards, and essentially this will just have like a little depiction of one of these 4 characters on it. And you can choose whichever one you want. And of course, you could play from 1 to 4 players. So each player will have their own little detective card, and they are exactly the same other than the little portraits on the card to represent your little character that's in the mansion. And you've got a fear track up top that goes from 0 down to 6 in the orange section. And then it starts going into a red zone, and there's a skull at the end. I'll explain what happens whenever you get into the red zone. That's the you will be next zone, it says on here. If you ever reach the red zone of your fear tracker, you lose the game. And then you've got clues, a little clue tracker, and the goal of the game is you're going to start with 0 clues, and the first player to reach 8 clues is going to unmask the Phantom Ghoul, like Scooby-Doo style, and win the game. So that's your goal, is you're trying to reach 8 on the clue tracker. And again, all of these trackers have the exact same fear and clue tracker right there. So those are your detectives. For today, we're going to do this dude. We're going to do this Inspector Gadget looking guy right here. So we're going to put him down here, and I'll put the rest of the detectives off to the side. Cool. And then we've got these little cubes here that come with the game. You've got 4 orange and 4 yellow, and those are going to be used to track your fear and your clues. And of course, there's 4 of each, so that way you could play with up to 4 players. So we're going to start with an orange cube on 0 fear, and a yellow cube on 0 clues, and then we won't need the rest, so I'll set those off to the side. There we go. And then we're going to have a couple of dice here that we're going to roll for different clue rolls during the game. And there's also going to be this little lightning bolt token here. And this is going to be used for particular cards in the game that will say that all players need to take an action. And typically you'll only use this in those instances from what I've seen. So if you're playing solo, you won't need this. You won't even need to use this token, so we won't need it today. But just to clarify, I'm going to kind of keep it on the table over here so that when one of those moments comes up, in case you plan on playing with your friends and you want to know how to play the multiplayer version, I'll go ahead and mention that. So we'll set the dice and the little token off to the side, and then we'll go over the rest of the stacks of cards here. So we've got a deck of Phantom cards up this way. Of course, you'll give this a shuffle before the game starts, and certain cards in the Manor deck, which is going to be kind of like the main deck that you're going through as you're exploring the Manor, as you're exploring the Dark Mansion. They will instruct you to draw Phantom cards, and Phantom cards are typically bad. You don't want to draw these. Whenever you draw one, you will resolve the Phantom card and then shuffle it back into the Phantom deck to potentially be drawn again. Then you've got item cards here, so you've got a whole bunch of items. Of course, you will shuffle these up as well, and you're going to get a free item to start the game with. Each player will get an item. So if you're playing with multiple players, each of you will get your own unique item to start the game with. So we'll shuffle them up, and we'll get one at random. And we got the crime-solving dog. A dog that solves mysteries? That'll never catch on. Gain +1 to find a clue. See, dude, there's a Scooby-Doo reference. Gain +1 to find a clue. I'm sorry. Gain +1 to find a clue rolls while this item is in your inventory. And then it says that you may also feed him a tasty dog treat to automatically succeed a find a clue roll. So essentially, anytime you're going through the manor and you have to make a find a clue roll with the dice, you'll add +1 to that. And then if you have the tasty dog treat item, you can feed it to the dog to automatically succeed a find a clue roll. So we've got our crime solving dog down this way. We got Scooby, and then we're going to set the rest of the items up this way. And then next, you'll take the Manor deck here. So again, this is going to be like the main deck that you're going to be using to explore the Manor. And you'll give that a mix. And there are 20, I believe 20 Manor cards. Oops, I'm spilling them all over the place. It wouldn't be a game night video if I didn't spill the cards at least once. Let's go ahead and shuffle these up. At least they're really mixed now, right? And then you're going to deal out 12. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, and you should be left with 8. 2, 4, 6, 8. Yeah, so there are 20 in total. We're going to set these over here in a little face-down discard pile, and we're going to set our 12 over here off to the side. We're going to be drawing from this pile here. And then the last cards that you have are pretty unique here. So we've got three cards that you're going to place face up on the table. We've got the Dark and Stormy Night card. On the flip side, it says the Fuse Box. You want this card to start face up on the Dark and Stormy Night side of the card, where it says, thunder rumbles in the distance, but the bright lights inside the manor bring you comfort. While this card is face up, you may use items to reduce fear. So certain items that you have that you'll get from the item deck, they may be used to reduce fear. So as long as this card is face up and the lights are on in the house, you can use your items to reduce fear. But if the lights go out is drawn, you flip over this card. So there's a card in the Phantom deck called the Lights Go Out. If you draw that card, you have to flip this card over to the Fuse Box side, which says, let's get these lights back on. You may attempt to restore the power on your turn. You roll 1 die. If you roll a 1 through 4, the lights are still out. If you roll a 5 or a 6, you succeed, and you flip this card over, and you return the Lights Go Out card to the Phantom deck. So yeah, you could flip this card back over potentially once during your turn. You can try to do that. And yeah, whenever this card is flipped over, you're not going to be able to reduce your fear as long as the lights are out. So it gives you an incentive to try to turn the lights back on. So again, this is going to start like this on the Dark and Stormy Night side. Then we got the Secret Passage, which is going to start out on the closed side. It'll say closed in parentheses, and on the flip side, it'll say open. So it always starts on the closed side. And it says, how does the Phantom Ghoul come and go unseen? You can attempt to open the Secret Passage on your turn. You have to make a find a clue roll, which is when you roll both of the d6, And the difficulty is 9, which means that you have to roll 9 or higher. And if you do, you'll succeed. And then you get to flip this card over and gain a clue. So you would flip the secret passage to its open side, and then you would gain a clue, whichever player opened it. If you're playing solo, you'd be the only one to gain it. If you're playing multiplayer, the player that rolled 9 or better on their turn to open the secret passage, they would get the clue. And then on the open side, it says, you have found the entrance to the secret passage. What horrors wait for you inside? You may now come and go as you please, but if Vanishing Act is drawn, flip over this card. So if you draw the Vanishing Act card from, I believe it's in the Phantom deck, you'll have to flip this card back over, and then the secret passage will have to be opened again by a player making a find a clue roll and rolling 9 or higher. So again, the secret passage will start closed. And then the last of these 3 sort of unique cards here is the Phantom Ghoul. And it says, who is the Phantom Ghoul? This masked murderer is killing off the house guests one by one. Will you be his next victim? The first player to gain 8 clues may flip over this card and win the game. And of course, we're not going to flip over this card just yet. We're going to try to get to 8 clues, hopefully, fingers crossed, and flip over the card and see what's on the other side. And then the last set of cards here are 6 victim cards here. And it's important to note too that when you set these cards up, you're going to put all 3 of these in a line, in a row. I like to put them up here at the top. Then you're going to take your victim cards. You'll have one side where it has the victim's name and their like status or their reputation or their job or, you know, their whatever they do. And then when you flip it over, it says here lies, and it has a little RIP tombstone, and it has their name, and it says what year they lived to, what year they were born and what year they passed away in. So the victims you have are, I'm going to try to do my best with these names. There's a couple of them that are a little quirky. There's Annabelle North, the wealthy socialite. So you're going to set that here. We're essentially going to use these 6 cards to add here to make like a 3x3 grid. Then you've got Jack Carraway, star tennis player. And you could put these in any order, it doesn't matter. Then you've got Tallulah Rivers, the silent movie actress. Then we've got Margot LaRue, the maid. We've got Dashiell Willard. This is the one I'm not too sure about. Dashiell? I'm going to go with Dashiell. We got Dashiell Willard, the butler. And lastly, we've got Sir Lionel Haggard, the big game hunter right here. So those are the 6 victim cards. Again, you'll set these up in a 3x3 grid. And believe it or not, the game is set up and ready to go, guys. So we're going to go ahead and get into how to play now, and I'm going to do a full playthrough of the game. So the first thing you'll do every turn, and of course, if you're playing with multiple players, you'll just take turns going clockwise around the table. Whenever it's your turn, you're going to flip over a manor card, and you're going to read the manor card and then resolve it. And you also have 2 other actions that you can take on your turn every turn. One of them is to try to open the secret passage, which we spoke about. You'd make a find a clue roll where you roll both the dice, and you're trying to roll, that's really cool, it just happened to be on 9. You're trying to roll 9 or better to open the secret passage. Or if you draw the lights go out card and the dark and stormy night card gets flipped over to the fuse box side, you can also use your action to try to turn the lights back on. Cool stuff. And just to clarify, I'm going to double check right now and see if you can do both of those things in one turn. It says the player may also take one of the following actions. Okay, so you've got to do one or the other. In addition to resolving the manor card, you can either try to open the secret passageway, or if the lights are off, you can try to turn them back on, but you can't do both. You can't try to get through the secret passageway and get the lights back on. So that's good to clarify. Okay, man, so we flipped over our first card here, and we've got lightning. Ooh, this reminds me of the event card from my game Home, where lightning strikes, which is a ghost hunting game. Anyway, back to Night of the Phantom Ghoul. It says, the storm outside is doing nothing for your shattered nerves. A sudden flash of lightning makes your heart pound. Very, very cool. So then it says roll 1 die. So we're going to roll 1 die. And we got a 4. If you roll a 3 and a 4, you draw a phantom card. Okay, not great. So we're going to draw a phantom card. And we get struck from behind. You awaken sometime later with a sizable lump on your head. Check your pockets. Is anything missing? You must either lose an item or gain 2 fear. That sucks. I don't want to lose what's his name? I forgot his name already. My goodness, guys. It's the goldfish memory kicking in. I don't want to lose my crime-solving dog, dude. We could gain 2 fear, but gaining fear is nasty, dude. Scooby-Doo. Scooby freaking Doo. How can I forget that, dude? Did we lose Scooby? man, he just wants a Scooby snack, dude. Do we gain the 2 fear? Let's gain the 2 fear. I don't want to lose Scooby, dude, because he's really good. He gives you +1 to your find a clue roll. So we'll gain 2 fear. Then we'll take our Phantom card, and it gets shuffled back into the Phantom deck to be potentially drawn once again. Okay, cool. We're also going to take the action this turn to try to open the secret passage. So with Scooby, we get +1 to our find a clue rolls. So we need to roll 8 or better instead of 9 or better. And we rolled 5. We didn't manage to find it. We pull some books on the bookshelf, but nothing happens. No secret passages open up. Okay, so we're going to go again. If we were playing a multiplayer game, the next person would go. They would take their turn, and they would do the same thing I just did. They would flip over a manor card, resolve it, and it says face to face. You have an up close and personal encounter with the Phantom. Roll 1 die. Okay, let's go ahead and roll. We got a 5. 5 and 6. Draw 2 Phantom cards and choose 1. Okay, at least we get to choose this time. So we've got Captured and we've got Growing Paranoia. Let's check each of them out so we can make an informed decision. Captured, it says, does the Phantom just want to keep you out of his way for a bit, or does he think you know too much? It may take some time for you to wiggle free. To escape, you must either A, skip a turn if playing multiplayer. So if you're playing the multiplayer variant, you can choose to skip your turn, in which case if you do skip your turn and you draw a manor card that says all players, there are certain actions in the manor deck that say all players must take that action. If you draw the captured card and you choose to skip your turn, you can't take part in those all players cards from the manor deck. So that's important to note. But if you're playing solo, you skip this. You can't choose skip a turn. You can only choose either option B or option C. Option B is lose a clue. Option C is gain 2+ fear. Considering we've got 0 clues, we could just go to lose a clue and we wouldn't lose anything. But let's check the other one. The other Phantom card is Growing Paranoia. Who is the Phantom Ghoul? He could be anybody under that mask. Is there anyone here you really trust? All players, here's a perfect example, all players roll 1 die. So if you were playing the multiplayer mode and you had chosen previously from this captured card to skip your turn, and then this card came up next, you wouldn't be able to take part in it because it says all players, but you skipped your turn. So all players roll 1 die. If you're playing solo, any cards that say all players, you just treat it like a normal card. So you go ahead and roll. Oh, actually, I don't know if I want to actually do this one. If we are to roll, we're probably going to gain fear. So since we get to choose, right? Draw 2 Phantom cards and choose 1. Let's actually choose captured. And we're just going to go ahead and choose to lose a clue because, again, we don't have any. So, yeah, we kind of get a freebie right there. Normally, you'd lose a clue, which really sucks. But in this case, we don't have any. So, joke's on the Phantom Ghoul. Cool, man. So then we can also try to open the secret passage again. Let's do it. So we're going to go ahead and roll. We need 9 or better. We actually need 8 or better because of Scooby, but we rolled 7, so we didn't get it. So we're going to go again. Into the next room, we got Steamer Trunk. You find some useful items inside an old steamer trunk while exploring the secret passage. You can only play this card if the secret passage is open. The secret passage is closed, but during our turn, we can try to open it up to resolve this card. So again, we need 8 or better, and we got it. We got 9, plus the one from Scooby is 10, and we need 9, so we opened it up, so we get to flip this card over. And it says, you have found the entrance to the secret passage. What horrors wait for you inside? You may now come and go as you please, but if Vanishing Act is drawn, you have to flip over this card. Okay, so we managed to open the secret passage, and it says, draw 2 items and choose 1. Okay, so we're going to draw 2 items, and we'll choose 1 to keep. We got the pipe. It says, I just need a quiet think. Gain +1 to all find a clue rolls while this item is in your inventory. So that's the same thing that Scooby does. It says, or you can use this for -1 fear and then return to the item deck and shuffle. So you could discard this from your inventory, shuffle it back into the item deck and reduce your fear by 1. It's also important to note you can only carry 3 items at a time. If you are to acquire a 4th item, you can look at the 4th item and choose to discard one of your items in order to pick it up. You can also choose to use one of your 3 items and then pick up the 4th item. Or we can choose a flashlight here. It says, you can use this to illuminate the dark corners of the manor. Gain +1 to all find a clue rolls while this item is in your inventory. You're going to notice a theme here. A lot of the cards basically do that exact same thing where they add +1 to your roll. But then they have a secondary function that makes them more unique. It says, or you can use this to skip drawing a Phantom card and then return to the item deck and shuffle. So if you're instructed to draw a Phantom card, you can discard the flashlight from your inventory and you can skip it. I think in this case, since our fear is actually going up a little bit, I'm going to grab the pipe just in case we need to lower it. And we're going to shuffle the flashlight back into the deck. There we go. And we will keep going. We don't need to try to open the passage anymore because it's open. Only if we draw the Vanishing Act card will it close. We'll flip it back over and then we'll have to try to open it again. And the lights are still on in the house, so there's no reason to try to turn them on since they're already on. So we're going to go ahead and flip another mana card. And we got Bats. You were startled by a flock of bats while exploring the secret passage. You can only play this card if the secret passage is open. It is. Roll 1 die. We roll. We got a 3. If you get 3 to 5, gain +1 fear. Yikes. It's also important to note too, guys, I mentioned this earlier and I said I'd explain it, so I'll do it now. If you ever enter the you will be next zone with the little red exclamation points, if you draw 2 very particular cards, we're going to look through the deck right here so I can show you. If you ever draw the Phantom Strikes card, or if you draw, well, there's another Phantom Strikes card here, and I believe there's one other one that the rules mention. Let me double check here. Let's see where it is. If you ever draw the Phantom Strikes or Scene of the Crime, so there must be a card in the Manor deck called Scene of the Crime. If you ever draw one of those, you're eliminated, and it works a little bit differently if you're playing with multiple players. So it says if the player's fear is in the you will be next zone, which is the red zone, and Scene of the Crime or the Phantom Strikes is drawn, you'll be eliminated. And in the event of a tie between players, if you're playing multiplayer, you make a die roll, and whichever player rolls lowest loses and is eliminated. So that's something to keep in mind. Also, once all of the victims have died too, I believe it's basically the same situation. So the Phantom Ghoul is murdering the victims one by one, and if all of the victims have been eliminated and Scene of the Crime or the Phantom Strikes is drawn, the player with the most fear is eliminated. So even if you're not in the red zone, it'll just be the player with the most fear will be eliminated once all of these characters are dead, once all the victims are dead, and you draw either of those 2 cards, the Phantom Strikes or Scene of the Crime. So important to keep in mind. So we'll shuffle those up. So you want to stay out of the red zone. You don't want to be in the you will be next zone. And of course, as mentioned earlier in the beginning of the video, if you reach the skull on your fear track, you just automatically lose. Cool. We're going to actually set this little token off to the side. I don't know if I actually mentioned it. So if you get one of those all players cards like we ran into earlier, the player that drew the card will set this little token on their card. They'll act first, and then you'll pass it around and you each act in turn. Honestly, I don't think it's very necessary. You can kind of just take turns acting in order, but if you want to keep track of it, the game does come with this to use. And again, if you're playing single player, you don't need to use it. Chances are you probably won't really need to use it. Okay, so we're going to keep going. We're going to use, open the next door in the manor, I suppose. We've got Overheard Gossip. You overhear a part of a private conversation between 2 of the other guests. Could this shed some new light on the Phantom Ghoul's motive? Find a clue. Difficulty 8. So we have to make a find a clue roll. And with Scooby and our pipe over here, we get +1 from both of those to our find a clue roll. So instead of 8, we need 6 or better. So you're going to roll both dice and we need 6 or better. And we got 8. So we get to gain 1 clue. Let's go, guys. We gained our first clue. And again, we're trying to get to 8 to unmask the Phantom Ghoul. Cool. We're going to keep on going. We're going to flip another card. Here we go. The Scene of the Crime. This was one of those 2 cards. The 2 that I just mentioned. It says, the Phantom has claimed a victim. You search the body for clues. Flip a victim to the RIP side. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and flip poor Annabelle North to the RIP side. And it says Annabelle North, 1905 to 1928. Dang, dude, 23? That's a shame. Way too young. Way too young. So then it says, all players gain +1 fear. Well, we're the only one playing, so we're going to gain 1 fear and go up to 4. And then it says all players may either find a clue, difficulty 8, or draw 2 items and choose one. Since we've already got a couple items that give us +1 each to our find a clue roll, I'm going to stick with this, and I want to try to find some clues because our fear is getting high. So we've got a difficulty of 8, but we get +2 here with our items, so we need 6 or better once again. And we got to do with 12. Let's go. So we've gained another clue, and we're up to 2 clues. We are 25% of the way there, quarter of the way there. We're going to keep going. Flip another card. We got peepholes. You discover that the Phantom Ghoul has been spying on you from within the walls of the manor. You can only play this card if the secret passage is open, which it is. Find a clue, difficulty 7. We got our +2, so we need 5 or better. And we got it with 8, guys. We're just finding clues left and right, dude. We're snooping around with our magnifying glass, finding clues left and right. We see the peepholes in the walls, dude. We're catching them, man. We're catching on to his tricks. We're going to go ahead and flip another one. Voice of the Killer. Suddenly, a sinister message plays. Who put this record on anyway? Find a clue. Difficulty 9. Okay, we get +2 with our pipe and Scooby, so we need 7 or better. And we got it with 8, dude. Let's freaking go. We're up to 4. If we would have failed, you'd gain 1 fear and draw a phantom card. So that is a good thing that we didn't fail. Let's go again. Spooky portrait. The eyes of that old family portrait seem to follow you around the room. You can't shake the eerie feeling that you are being watched. That is super spooky. Roll 1 die. We rolled a 4. If you roll a 4 through 6, you draw a phantom card. Oh no, guys. Captured once again. Does the phantom just want to keep you out of his way for a bit? Apparently, because he keeps capturing us. Or does he think you know too much? It may take some time for you to wriggle free. To escape, you must either A, skip a turn, again, only if you're playing multiplayer, or if you're playing solo, lose a clue or gain 2 fear. I don't want to gain 2 fear, so unfortunately, guys, I'm going to lose a clue. That really sucks. That really sucks, dude. Because if we gain 2 fear, we're going to be at 6. We're going to be at the threshold of the red zone, and I don't like that at all. I don't like losing a clue either, but it is what it is. Okay, we're going to keep going. Phone is dead. You try again to call the local authorities. The phones are still out. Guess you're on your own tonight. Roll 1 die. And we rolled a 6. 3 to 6, draw a phantom card. Oh my goodness, guys. Captured again. What is happening? We got to lose another clue, guys. I'm not gaining fear. I'm shuffling it right to the top of the deck. I'm doing one of these numbers. Let's get these mixed up like this. There we go. All right, cool. We'll keep on going. We're losing clues left and right, man. The Phantom's Lair. You encounter the Phantom Ghoul while exploring the secret passage. We just run right into the guy. He hasn't noticed you yet. You can only play this card if the secret passage is open. Find a clue, difficulty 9. Okay, well, we got Scooby in our pipe. Difficulty 7 for us, dude. Boom, we got it with 9. We were at 2, right? Yeah, we were at 2. I think the cube was collateral of one of my bracelets here. So we succeed, and we find a clue. If we would have failed, we would have gained a fear and drawn a phantom card. Okay, let's keep on going. We got 1 more card left in the phantom deck, and then I'll tell you what you do after this. Destroyed evidence. Somebody tried to dispose of some incriminating papers in the fireplace. You show the burnt fragments to the other guests. Can anyone read what was once written? All players may find a clue. So again, this is where this little token would come into play. If I drew this card, I would put this on my guy. I would roll, try to find a clue, then pass the token to the next person. But again, you could just go around the table in order if you want. So difficulty 9, so difficulty 7 for us with Scooby in the pipe. And we got 9, dude, and we got our 2 clues right back. Take that, you freaking jerk Phantom Ghoul. Okay, so now that we've gone through the whole 12 cards in the Manor deck, you're going to flip them back over. You're going to shuffle all 20 cards together. And you're going to set it up just like you did in the beginning of the game. So you're going to deal out 12 of the cards. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Set the rest down, face down in the discard pile. And you'll continue exploring the manor. So we'll go ahead and flip. Overheard gossip. You overhear a part of a private conversation between 2 of the other guests. Could this shed some new light on the Phantom Ghoul's motive? Find a clue, difficulty 8. We need 6 or better. We got 8, guys. We're up to 5 freaking clues, dude. Can we do this? Can we do this? I'll say right now, too, while I'm thinking about it, the game is definitely really fun solo. I could see this game really shining multiplayer. It does seem like it's maybe potentially more fun in a multiplayer setting where you're competing against the other players and trying to be the first one to reach 8 clues to identify the Phantom Ghoul, because only 1 player wins. If you're playing alone, still fun, but yeah, I could see this being super fun if you're playing with like a little group of people. Cool. It would be neat if there were ways to like screw over the other players, but I haven't run into anything like that. But I think it's kind of just a race to get to 8 clues. Okay, cool. Let's go ahead and flip another card. And we got scene of the crime again, guys. The Phantom has claimed another victim. You search the body for clues. Flip a victim to the RIP side. Rip Jack Carraway, guys. Rip Jack Carraway, 1901 to 1928. Dang, dude, 27. These people are young up in here, dude. And then all players gain 1 fear. My goodness, we're up to 5 fear. And then all players may either find a clue or draw 2 items and choose one. I want to find clues, man. Difficulty 8. We got difficulty 6 with Scooby in the pipe. And we rolled Snake Eyes, and we got nothing. We got absolutely nothing. Okay, let's go again. Steamer Trunk, another Steamer Trunk, guys. You find some useful items inside an old steamer trunk while exploring the secret passage. You can only play this card if the secret passage is open. Draw 2 items and choose one. Okay, let's go ahead and draw 2. Oh, baby. Check this one out first. We got the tweezers. What do we have here? Gain +1 to all find a clue rolls while this item is in your inventory, or use it to reduce fear by 1 and return it to the item deck. So it essentially does the exact same thing as the pipe. And then we got the tasty dog treat. Yum. Feed to crime-solving dog to automatically succeed a find a clue roll. Or you can eat it for -2 fear. After either action, return to the item deck and shuffle. So we could eat the dog treat. Guys, we got to do this, dude. We got to give Scooby a Scooby Snacks. So we're going to take the tasty dog treat here. We'll shuffle up the other item into the deck, the tweezers. There we go. So we've got our maximum 3 items here. So it says that you may also feed him a tasty dog treat to automatically succeed a find a clue roll. So next time we get a really gnarly high difficulty find a clue roll, we can go ahead and feed him the tasty dog treat and give him a Scooby snack. Okay, let's keep on going. Phantom's Lair. We're getting a lot of the same cards. You encounter the Phantom Ghoul while exploring the secret passage. He hasn't noticed you yet. This guy is not very observant. You can only play this card if the secret passage is open. Find a clue, difficulty 9. See, that one's pretty high. We're going to go ahead and feed the tasty dog treat to Scooby here, to the crime-solving dog, and we automatically succeed a find a clue roll, and we're up to 6 right there, and then this gets shuffled back into the item deck. Sick, guys. That's pretty cool, because you could potentially draw it again, which is awesome. Okay, there we go. Nice, we'll keep on going. We're getting really close, guys. We just need 2 more. Yeah, we're drawing a lot of the same cards. Bats. You are startled by a flock of bats. Is it a flock? Is it a flock of bats? While exploring the secret passage, you can only play this card if the secret passage is open. Roll 1 die. Uh-oh. 6. Gain 0 fear. Let's go, guys. Amazing. Amazing. Okay, we're going to keep going. Uh-oh. A threatening note. This is a new one, right? You find an anonymous note. It's not from your secret admirer. Find a clue. Difficulty 8. Okay, this is difficulty 6 for us, dudes. Easy. Yes, we got it with 7. I was about to say, dude, if we fail. Oh my god, it was a 6. There we go. On a failure, it said draw 2 phantom cards and choose one. So that would have sucked. Let's keep on going through the manor, guys. I feel like we're getting close. Ooh, this is where we started. Lightning, dude. The storm outside is doing nothing for your shattered nerves. A sudden flash of lightning makes your heart pound. Roll 1 die. Storming outside. We rolled a 6. Draw the lights go out from the phantom deck. Uh-oh. So we got to look for the lights go out card in the phantom deck. And look at that. There's Ziggy, guys. There's Ziggy popping off in the background, dudes. We're going to go ahead and draw the lights go out card right here. And it says, is this just a power outage or something more sinister? Keep this card face up on the table. Flip the dark and stormy night to the fuse box side. Players cannot reduce fear while the lights go out is active. Okay, so we're going to leave that card on the table. We'll flip this card over to the fuse box side, and it says, let's get these lights back on. You may attempt to restore the power on your turn. Roll 1 die. If you roll a 1 through 4, the lights are still out. If you roll a 5 or 6, you succeed, and you flip this card back to the lights. You flip this card back over, and you return the lights go out card to the phantom deck. So we could try that once per turn, and each player can try that once on their turn. Okay, cool. So let's do that on our turn. We're going to go ahead and, or actually, I guess we got to draw a phantom card first. Let's go ahead and draw a phantom card. We got Thorough Search. You spend some time rummaging through drawers, hoping to find something of value. All players may either find a clue, difficulty 9, or draw 2 items and choose one. Guys, we could win the game right here. We need 7 or better. Scooby in the pipe, dude. Scooby in the pipe. Scooby in the freaking pipe, dude. 5 plus 2 is 7. Plus the 2 is 9. Boom, guys. We got all 8 clues. We were getting really, really high on fear right there too, dude. So that was awesome. We're going to go ahead and flip over the Phantom Ghoul, guys. So it says it says the first player to gain 8 clues may flip over this card and win the game. So here we go. Let's flip it over. The Ghoul unmasked. Tearing off the Phantom's mask, you discover that the butler did it. The Shield Willard was the Phantom Ghoul this whole time. It says if the Shield is RIP, he cleverly faked his death to clear himself of any suspicion. So there it is, guys. It was the butler the whole time, guys. So a little bit of a spoiler there, but there it is, dudes. We managed to win. We managed to beat Knight of the Phantom Ghoul. Awesome game. Awesome little game by Alex Clay. Very, very fun. Like I said, it's very fun playing solo, but I really think that this game would shine in a multiplayer setting. So if you got some buddies or some family members that would be interested in the game, highly recommend it. It's extremely simple and in a good way. You're basically just flipping a card, you're doing what it says, you're rolling some dice, and you're kind of at the you know, the mercy of the dice, whether or not you're going to find clues or gain fear and stuff. Super simple. Doesn't have a lot of rules to bog you down. So a great game to maybe introduce some family or friends into the really neat hobby of solo player tabletop games. Yeah, man, really, really cool stuff. Can't recommend it enough. So I'll have a link down in the description so that you can go check out the store page on the Game Crafter if you want to pick up your own copy of Night of the Phantom Ghoul, designed and illustrated by Alex Clay. So there it is, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you enjoyed the spookiness traveling through this dark mansion with me and uncovering the Phantom Ghoul. And if you did, hit the thumbs up like button, hit the red subscribe button, and click the bell so you can stay updated every time I upload a brand new video. And I'll have more videos, more tabletop solo player games coming to the channel very, very soon. So be on the lookout for that. And until the next one, have a good one. I'll see you guys in the next video.